Where is my tall king with a mustache and big nose that worships the ground that I walk on? Where is a man that literally will be a fan of me? Just like, come on, where are you at?
You know, something I've noticed is that it's such a turn on when a guy is like calling you all the time or hitting you up constantly, unless he's ugly. And then it's like, wow, he's a stalker. Yes, I know there's a lot of nice guys out there. I've talked to a lot of nice guys, but I don't want to kiss a nice guy, okay? I want to kiss a nice guy who looks like Bradley Cooper.
Is anyone else so used to dating toxic guys that nice guys are just really boring?
Straight from the horse's mouth. Guys, let's break this phenomenon down of women not wanting good men, rejecting quality nice guys, and instead choosing losers, toxic men, bad boys, guys in the street, abusers, criminals. Understand something about women, okay? They all have an ideal type of guy that they envision themselves with long term, a guy they want to spend the rest of their life with. Now, he might have the mold of an actor that she likes, an entertainer, a guy who's a rapper, a guy who's a country music star, or a guy who might be in the NFL, NBA, play baseball, whatever guy that she sees herself with, she's going to close her eyes and she's going to think about, man, what if I could get that type of guy? I know they're delusional, it's crazy, but this is how women think. So if you don't fit that type of mold, that build, that guy who is tall, like the female says, who has a mustache and who's a king, what will happen is she'll most likely reject you. And if she runs across this guy, if she happened to get a date with this guy, she happened to match with him on a dating app, or he happened to shoot her a shot or whatever in public and approach her, now she'll do whatever he wants. So he might be a bad boy. He might be a criminal. He might be a loser, but physically, he fits the profile of who she envisions herself with long term. So what'll happen is that guy who's attractive, who's good looking, who looks like Bradley Cooper, as she says, he can cheat on her. He can have other women. He can abuse her. He can walk all over her. He can use her for her money. He can do all types of stuff, as you probably heard dudes do to women, but she'll stick with him. That's because he's attractive. Guys, I'm gonna be honest, women are extremely superficial. They care about your looks. That's like top priority number one, because now they can get resources for themselves. They can go to school. They can kind of fence themselves. They might not be great with money, but they can keep their head above water somewhat. So now they're choosing guys not based on resources, not based on necessarily earning potential, not based on what type of car he drives for the most part. They're choosing based on looks alone. Okay, so this is why dating apps are so skewed in a woman's favor, and it doesn't help the average everyday guy, because if you're not in that top 10 to 15%, what will happen is she'll be like, oh, okay, you don't look like Bradley Cooper. You don't look like this actor. You don't resemble this superstar. You don't have the makeup and build of this type of guy that I dream about in this novel, on this reality show. So this is not going to work out. So this is why women are choosing those guys. They're all almost going for this percentage guy, this certain type of dude. And if they happen to get their hands on him, now he can cheat on them. And he usually has way more options. So he's sleeping with this girl, he's sleeping with that girl, he's sleeping with this girl, he's sleeping with all these different females, because that's the type of man that they want to be with for the rest of their life. Now, when it comes to men being nice guys, okay, let's talk about this. The only reason why you're a nice guy is because you don't think you're good enough to get her. Okay, so if a guy is attractive, if he's good looking, if he knows he can hook up with women and get women, he's not necessarily going to put this woman on a pedestal. Now, I'm not saying you being a genuine man and you being a law-abiding citizen. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about going out of your way, trying to roll the red carpet out for her, giving her your all without her giving anything in return, right? Having her disrespect you, catering to her, compromising for her, following her lead. That's what I mean by nice. Being way too accommodating, not being able to tell her, no, this is not going to work out. We're not going to do this your way. This is what I mean by nice guys. And the guys who are attractive, they don't have to accommodate to her. They're not afraid to tell her no. They don't follow her lead. They do what they want. They don't text her and call her 24/7, because that's what nice guys do. Here's the thing. It's a subconscious thing. Think about it. A woman who wasn't all that attractive, let's say she weighed 250 pounds and you was smashing, hooking up with her in the past, were you really trying to take her on dates? Were you really calling her a bunch and texting her and checking up on her and seeing how her day was? No, I hope not. Hope you had some standards. What you were doing was, most likely, she would, text you, say, hey, come over at this time. And you were kind of nonchalant about the situation. She'd come over at night at maybe 9, 10 p.m. and you guys hook up, you guys have sex. And after that, she'd go about her business and you just didn't really care if you saw her again or not. This is what attractive men do. This is what women want. They want that type of guy who does not care about them, unfortunately. Now, I'm not saying you can't care about a woman and hang out with her and do different things. And I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they want a guy who puts himself first. Nice guys, good guys who treat women like royalty. That's the type of guys I'm talking about. I'm not talking about saying, okay, you hanging out with a girl, you guys going on a date, you guys, going to the mall or something like that. I'm talking about dudes who literally worship women. Those dudes do it because they know they're not attractive enough. They think that they're not good enough to get that type of woman, so they start to overcompensate. Just think about it, guys. Think about all the women that you dealt with. And you're probably talking to a woman right now who's attractive, who's really good looking, and you're probably texting her a bunch. Look at your text thread. Is she sending one text message or you sending 2, 3, 4? Who's always initiating communication? Exactly. Who's always calling to set up a date? Is it you or is it her? Because if you're doing it, that means her attraction level is not that high. And she views you as, he's an average guy. He's all right. And you don't want a woman to view you as that. You want a woman to view you as the prize. And like that first female said in the clip, she said, she basically wants a man to worship her. Women don't want that. Women don't want a man that's going to go out of their way and do all these different things and worship the ground she walks on. They don't want a guy who's going to do that. They think they want a guy like that, but when they get in front of that guy who has a mustache, who's tall, who's a king, who's attractive, who's masculine, then they're going to be like, oh, he don't got to do none of that. Think about it. When you were with a woman who wasn't even all that attractive, were you doing all of that stuff? Were you worshiping her? Were you putting her on a pedestal? Was you trying to give her everything to try to keep her around? No. So guys, understand something. You don't have to chase women. You don't have to put them on a pedestal. You don't have to worship them. Because if you're doing this, chances are she's running away, number one. 2, you're exhibiting needy, weak behavior and you're desperate. Women don't want to be with desperate guys. They want to be with guys who other women want. I'm just going to be honest. So if you have that aura about you where you're just trying to be nice to women because number one, you probably think it's the right thing to do. Or number 2, you feel like that you're not good enough, that she's better than you, that she's a queen, that she's a goddess. I'm telling you, it's not going to last long. You're on borrowed time, buddy. Only thing that's going to happen is she's going to, go with the flow. But then she's going to be like, oh, this guy, he's a little bit needy. He's always calling and texting me. Just like the female said, she don't really want a guy to call and text her all the time. But if you're not attractive, right, don't call and text her pretty much. But if you're good looking, that's who the guy who she wants to communicate with her. But these women don't understand. The guy who's attractive, he doesn't have to call you and text you. So it's a lose-lose for women. They want a guy who's good looking, who's attractive, who's on point, who's sitting on their all cylinders, got his I's dotted, got his T's crossed, attractive, smells good, makes money, successful, probably has his own business, who's tall probably. They want that type of guy, but they want him to simp. They want him to worship her, which will never happen because that guy, ultimately, he doesn't have to. He has tons of options. The only time a guy worships a woman, pedestalizes her, is because, number one, he does not have many options. He doesn't have the abundance mindset. So he says, well, I might as well do all these things just to keep her. I got to do this. I got to prove my worth. I got to do this. I got to do that. But who do women usually get with? Guys who don't have to prove their worth. Guys who have made it in life, who are attractive, who keep well-groomed, who keep their body on point, who work out, who's physically good looking. I'm telling you, this is what it's about. And then they're going to simp to that guy. They're going to cater to that dude. They're going to be submissive and feminine to that guy because they can't help it. Women want attractive men. Now, are all women going to get a certain type of attractive guy? No, because now they're going to be fighting for that top 10 to 15% looking dude. They're gonna, oh, he's over 6 feet tall. I gotta have him. Well, other women want to have him too. So what are you gonna do to separate yourself? So a lot of these women are single because they want a certain man who has model type of looks, who's really attractive, who other women want, but they want that guy to commit to them only, which rarely ever works. Because why would he stop, having the opportunity to hook up and sleep around with multiple women and just commit to little old you? Right? And that's the trouble women are having. They're having a hard time keeping a guy who looks like Bradley Cooper, who has model looks, who's like an actor, who looks like that guy in the reality show. They're having a hard time getting that guy to commit to them.